Let's take a look at the diagnosis of a spline curve. Before I start to look at the curve, though, I want to go and check the eye properties of this file. And if I go to the Details tab, I see that this is the original release of Inventor 2019. I think it's up to update 4 now, so the first thing I would do is install all the updates, the latest update for 2019. So I want to examine this sketch, and so I'll go to Edit Sketch, and I'm going to turn on the display of the curvature. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say Display Curvature, and then I need to exaggerate that so I can see it better. So I'm going to go to Set Up Curvature Display, and I'm going to increase the comb to maximum, and then I'm going to increase this, and notice now that we were expecting this to be symmetrical across here, and it isn't symmetrical, if we rotate this around. So this area right in here isn't symmetrical. So I'll display the handles at this location, and I see that this handle isn't horizontal. So I'll put a horizontal constraint on it, but when I do, it's still not symmetrical. Now I might need to go around and check all of the handles, and make sure that the handles at each one of these nodes is identical, and you can put dimensions on those and constraints to get those as intended. But I'm gonna I don't trust this spline because I didn't make it, so I was expecting it to be symmetrical to start with, so I'm just going to delete that spline and put it in again. Now I'm going to create my own spline, and it's important to select as the first location a point of symmetry, so either here or here. So I'm going to start at this point, and I'm going to go around and select my points, and be very careful to get the points on the first selection. I've found that if you miss and then you add a coincident, sometimes the results aren't what you were expecting. So I'll make sure that I snap to each one of these points and get it on the first shot. And I'll come up here to close that. I'll right click, say OK, and so now I have that spline. And then I'm going to go through again. I'll right click on the spline, I'll tell it to display curvature, and then I'll right click again and I'll say Set Up Curvature Display, increase my combs, and so now I can increase or decrease this exaggeration as much as I like, but I can see now that it appears to be symmetrical. And so I think it's really important to be careful how you create your original spline. And if I go and I right click on this and I say activate that handle, I see that that handle is horizontal with I didn't do anything to this one, where the previous example it wasn't horizontal. If I come down here to this handle and I right click and I display activate that handle, I see that it's horizontal. Now you may want to go through and put dimensions on each one of these handles if you want to make sure that they're absolutely symmetrical from one side to the other. So I think the problem with the initial one, well, I don't really know where the spline was started, whether it was started here or some other location. Perhaps a point was missed and then a coincident constraint was added. I think it may be just a matter of taking care in how you select the points. Now if I finish sketch, notice the sketch isn't fully constrained. If I edit that sketch, it's because I still have a handle display. So if I right click and I unactivate these handles, I think I got them all. Well, maybe I didn't. finish sketch again. I still must have missed one somewhere. I found one more that I still had active, and so I'll right click here and unactivate that handle. When I do, I see the thumbtack over here. Now it tells me that it is fully constrained, and I'll finish my sketch. Now if you want to turn off the visibility of this curvature comb, again, just edit that sketch and right click and turn off the display of the curvature comb.